I see the out communities, I see Fenton, I see Holly, I see Linden, Davison, but I don't see anything here in the township. And that concerns me. I have a business, and when there's no growth, that means that I have no growth. And I see Genesee Valley, nothing. There's nothing going on. And I really feel that the board's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then I hear people complain about coming into the township hall. You pay their water bills or things that are going on. I understand that our building department head is leaving, and and these are things that I feel that the board should be on top of. And police department, they seem to be out there. The fire department, can't say enough good about them. I would like to see, and the chief probably slapped me alongside the head for saying this, but I would like to see that the fire department might look into, maybe more of a rescue team ambulance. I mean, I see other communities with ambulance, our own ambulance services, our own rescue teams, things like that. And utilize our fire department instead of, I see ambulances up and down the streets, and there's 5 or 6 of them. Why don't we have our own? And that was from me, not anybody else. You can holler at me later over that. But we're not utilizing ourselves. You guys were voted in as fiduciaries. Fiduciary, if you don't understand what it is, look it up in the dictionary. You were voted in to do what we, as the voters, voted you in as. Come to work, be here to do our job. Not to just come in and vote, and then you take your check and you go home and you cash it. Do our bidding, Look and see what the businesses are doing. See the vacant buildings. There is so many vacant buildings in this township that are not done.
Thank you, Kevin.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
I don't know, somebody's. No one.
Neil Seward. I had intended to speak to you about the great things that are going on in Flint Township and Genesee County. Unfortunately, I am unable to do so. As we were leaving your meeting on May 1st, we were approached by an individual and told that my wife and I are unaware of what has actually taken place in Flint Township. We were then handed a letter to read that made many malicious allegations against 4 of our township leaders. The letter did not have a signature in respect to who had written it. We were not afforded a copy of the anonymous letter, only the chance to read it. We were deeply offended by the contents and thought that whoever had written these despicable things had no backbone. Although as requested to date, the individuals being accused of these wrongdoings still have not been given access to this anonymous letter. As such, they are unable to respond to these malicious allegations. I'm requesting that the author of this document, please man or woman up, take responsibility, forward a copy of this letter to the people that are being accused of wrongdoing. It is impossible to defend oneself when you do not know what is being written and said about you. To save time and money in respect to legal action in this instance, I can tell you an arbitrator would most likely give you a ruling such as this. Upon review, the charges and allegations stated in this letter were written maliciously and not presented in an acceptable format as to allow the individuals being accused of wrongdoing the opportunity to respond. Additionally, the malicious manner in the way these charges and allegations were presented with lack of ownership is deemed to be dishonest, lacks integrity. As such, all charges and allegations in this instance are denied. My wife and I are proud to live in Flint Township and Genesee County. We volunteer and give countless hours, gardening, sitting on committees, attending meetings, picking up trash, placing public safety signs, and more We are also very active in the county level. We communicate with some of our county commissioners on a regular basis. We do not seek recognition for our volunteer work. We only hope that in our small way that we are helping you and making a difference in our community. It appears that there are some people that have given up on our community and our elected officials. Rather than work to improve things, they would rather just tear it down and cause trouble. Going forward, please keep this negativity away from us. If you are unhappy with Flint Township and the way it is being run, that is your prerogative, but we do not want any part of it. Please realize negative people only comprise a small minority of our Flint Township residents. All of you can fix anything that's wrong in this township presently. All you need is some team building exercises and some candid and meaningful conversations. We also want you to know that we have not given up on Flint Township, and as our elected officials, we certainly have not given up on any of you, and that goes for our leadership table and the people that hold leadership positions in our township that are in the audience this evening. We do not expect you all to share Thanksgiving dinner together. However, going forward, we do expect you to work better as a team, especially during public meetings. We need you to be one township, one team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seward. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Dave Huffman, 2483 Warner Road. That was some eloquent comments, and a lot of what you say has got some merit to it, but unfortunately, from what's been going on in the township, is not all love and kisses and kumbaya.
Hey, Dave, can you address the board, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Getting back to some of the problems that I have seen with this board, and this really makes me feel bad, and it dismays me, is the resignation of our building inspector. I've had a chance on several occasions to talk to him, and he seems like an honest, credible, he keeps politics out of the fray and decisions up here. I know other supervisors that he's worked for in adjoining townships, and I've talked to some people where he works part-time in Fenton Township, and I've heard nothing but good, credible, positive things about this gentleman. And it upsets me to see about a month ago when we had some trustees on this board that sat here and had the audacity to sit here and go over $200 worth of boots that supposedly the man had bought, and then to go so far to check a store down in Tennessee to double check this type of pettiness. To me, I'm sitting here as a taxpayer and somebody that's been around this township a long time, and I'm thinking to myself, I have never seen such petty politics in my whole life. Like one of the trustees said at that meeting, I'm embarrassed. I am totally embarrassed for this board for what's going on tonight. And I felt the same way sitting out here in this audience. Let me tell you something, folks. Building inspectors are hard guys to find, number one. Number two, honest building inspectors who keep away from the political fray and the deal making are hard to find. Number three, who's going to replace him now? He set 2 years of his life up here, setting up a good organization with his staff and had a good running department going. And now I've even spoken to him, and he says he almost hates to leave the township because he had such a good staff and things were going so well in the township. So, like I say, I've been a cheerleader for this township my whole life. My father was on this township board for 8 years. He was certainly a cheerleader for this township. And things in this life, especially when it comes to political decisions, just because you have an opposition view doesn't mean that you're a Debbie Downer or you've got problems. Here again, to wrap this up, I'll go with the same thing. I think there's a lot of room for the board to work together better, to keep some of this petty politics out of decisions that cost us good personnel, people leaving this township. And as a taxpayer, it upsets me greatly, and it makes me very ashamed and upset with some of the decision making that's going up here. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? No? one last time? Then public comment is over, and we'll move on to reports. I'll keep mine short this evening. I just want to remind everybody a few things. We have weekly garbage, recycling, and yard waste pickup on Thursday mornings. They ask that you would have your items at the curb by 7 a.m., and maybe it's best to put it out the night before if you have a hard time getting it out there. It's by 7 a.m. In the lobby are these bright green sheets that tell you everything you ever wanted to know about garbage pickup days. And there's also a schedule on the back. Yard waste pickups started the first Thursday in April and will finish the last Friday in November. And then we also have the county has special recycling days, and that information can be found in the lobby also. Just to also bring to everyone's attention, we have a township park that's located on Norco Road next to the police department. We have a trail that goes from one end of the township, and the connection to Swartz Creek was just completed this last year. In fact, it officially has an open jet. The addition was from Dye Road at Norco down to Miller, which connects it all the way through Swartz Creek to their Elms Road Park. So look for the grand opening of that section. And this little thing here tells you the rules for the park and trails, the rules that are in the code of conduct. So we have that. And lastly, Gene Leverette's not here, so I'm just going to speak for him. If you mow your yard, we have an ordinance that asks you not to put the clippings in the gutter. It clogs up the catch basins. The catch basins need to catch the water and not be filled with stuff. So that's my basic report. Madam Clerk, do you have a report this evening?
I do. Genesee County has a home improvement urgent repair program, and it's basically for homeowners. That's one of the requirements. And you must meet certain income limit requirements. This is a deferred payment loan. So the loan for any repairs on your home, like a roof, and I think they were saying siding, the payment would not come due until you no longer own the home property. So it seems like a pretty good program. I will have this posted online, and it's for all Genesee County homeowners that are looking for urgent repairs. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that with the Planning Commission, the Genesee County Planning Commission?
It is.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Does that conclude your report?
It is.
Madam Treasurer, do you have a report? Do we have any trustee reports this evening?
Of course, I'll have something to say. No ZBA meetings in the past couple of weeks, but we are, and I'm not going to take anything from our fire chief, but folks, we're constantly looking for, and I'm looking around this room and I see a lot of volunteer on-call firefighters and family members of, and we are desperately in need. If you've got, and I talk to the kids that are graduating 18 years old or older, and I send them over to the chief. I had 3 calls this weekend. I gave him his cell phone number to talk to him. We need the help. Long time ago when I was younger, the conversation was that you need to do this, and now I'm getting it from 2 gentlemen that are being honored this evening that I've had the pleasure of watching do their work the whole year, 25 plus years they've been here. I'm too old to do it, but there's a lot of folks out there that aren't. At 63 soon, yeah, I might be able to handle a little bit. I can come and watch and pick up trash for the guys and bring them water, but I applaud them when they put that gear on and go inside. So if you guys know anybody that's looking, ladies and gentlemen, and I look back at the daughter of one of them with a smile. Chief will take ladies and gentlemen. It's necessary. And I'm going to piggyback on some other things that were said. Kevin Stiff, Mr. Stiff, the owner and the resident, he's right. We need to pick some things and we need to look around, and all of us need to, no pun intended, police our own house and make sure that we're trying to hey, if you see it in a parking lot, when you're walking across the parking lot, pick a can up and do some things that it goes nowhere but to improve everything that we're affiliated with. And that's Flint Township here as a whole. You're stuck with me. I'm sorry. I don't know how long. I don't, you know, I'm pardon the poor English, and yeah, from a teacher, I ain't going anywhere. I'm right here as well. So let's do it together. I'm not going to say anything about what I just saw. A gentleman in the audience just hugged my wife, so I'm done. Thank you. See ya.
Trustee Vert, did you want to tell us about the cleanup on May 6th?
I'm sorry, Barb.
May 6th, oh yeah. So we had, let's see, we had 8 people show up, including myself and Officer Chiza. We had 21 or 23 bags of garbage, and we only went a short distance from the old Genesee Valley Gold and Silver building to Lennon Road. That's how much we got, and a giant burned metal sign. We don't know. It was laying there. But yeah, but it was nice. There were donuts, so they enjoyed it.
Can you tell us when the next volunteer cleanup is?
Sure, the next Saturday, 1st June, when, I don't know the date.
First Saturday in June would be June 3rd?
Is it?
Is that the
Okay,
first
then
Saturday in
yeah,
June?
first Saturday of each month through November, hopefully, we're going to be doing the cleanups. And they'll be online.
And
We
so
could use more bodies.
they can find out where the location is to meet for cleanup. Saturday mornings, what time do you meet?
10. I wish it was earlier, but it's 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
I'd
And the
like it.
location, if, we can announce it in a meeting if we have one before, but if not, they can find it online.
We didn't have any snakes this year. We were
It's a
happy.
good thing.
Barb, and you and I talked about both of those days. I'm tied up in Okemos with the women's professional football the first of the month. Sorry,
Oh, well, oh, well.
but I'll get you in. I can get you in July.
Alrighty, so if you're interested in helping to clean up the township, that would be great. I also wanted to mention this last week that Signs by Craney delivered a plaque that was ordered, I'm not sure when you ordered it, Tracy, but it was a thank you to the Heroes Plaza. And it was almost 6 months, 9 months, almost a year.
6 months ago. Well, we put in the signs last fall, right?
Yeah, the monuments were placed, and we had a little ceremony, a memorial or Veterans Day last fall. But the sign that holds the was a big piece of limestone. Suffice it to say, the memorial's complete. If you wanted to swing by the police department where the flags poles are, you can see the completed monument. It's really beautiful. We'll move on to staff reports if we're all done with the trustee reports. Ms. Tucker.
So I sent out a report to all of the trustees, and I was going to wait to do this report tomorrow at the EDC, but from everything that was said during public comment, I think it needs to be said now. Our new business highlights for the last year, we had Gabe's came in, which filled the VGs, ATL Jamaican Jerk, which filled Subway, Golden Motors filled Burns Well Drilling, Pet House went in the Old Town and Country, Success Virtual Learning Center went in Old Pier 1, V's Drive-Thru went into the Cash Store, King Cigar went in the Old Town and Country, Mike's Fish and Chicken and Snipes both went in Genesee Valley Center. And there's several more things that have went in. Central Transport went in Holiday Drive. Premier Fleet Services went into an existing building on Commerce. The Judson Center went in the Davenport building. The Gym Fitness Center is actually a new building. That was one of the few new builds we had. Out of the 26 that I have listed, and I'm sure there's some that I've missed, 24 of those went into an existing structure. And then we had the one new build, so, or existing empty structure, I should say. So we are making a lot of inroads. Under construction and plans under review, our Scratch Barbecue, which is going into the old Fuddruckers, Precision Vehicle Logistics, which is going at Capital Coney Island, Beach Tree, Tommy's Car Wash, which is by which was the old Chuck E. Cheese. Savvy Sliders is going into Tim Hortons at Ballinger and Flushing. We have the Quick Stop, which is a new build at the corner of Bristol and Vance Lake, and then we have them redoing the gas station at Bristol and Miller. Universal Logistics is going into on Torrey Road where the old Sorensen Gross building was, and then a couple other properties next to that. Modern Concrete is redoing their concrete plant. We have the Orchard Grove mixed-use project where the old Medical Arts building was on Flushing Road. That's a new build and it's all residential. It's residential and commercial. The Dollar General on Linden Creek Parkway, which is a new build. Chick-fil-A, where the old Sonic was, that will be a new build. Well Now Urgent Care is going into an existing building. Motor City Fireworks expanded into other suites within the Ross Plaza. 168 Crab is going into the Lincor Plaza. Long John Silver's is repairing or rebuilding, and KFC is rebuilding from their fire repair. Approved site plans that we're awaiting construction drawings, or the construction drawings are under review, include the 100,000 square foot e-commerce center, the Genesee Health Services in the old Baker Building and Library, North Star Holdings at Corona and Anoka, Adil Muhammad at a vacant lot near Linden Place. That was a storage center. Printcom has an expansion. Shea has an expansion. McLaren Hospitality House is expanding their parking. New warehousing condos on Elms Road. Current active projects that I'm working on out of my office, the supervisor and I are working on a few of these together as well, is the 3D community marketplace. There's a current building there that I'm working with some individuals to bring a project into. U-Haul is looking at an expansion with a new building. The Sears property, Maple Road property near Barrett's Donuts, Lapeer Furniture, I'm working with the new buyer. Vacant land next to Curbco, the township properties in River Forest, the township properties behind Dyewood, the ABA Therapy Center, the Mike Dandy property, which is on Linden Road, and there's several other projects there, but bottom line is last year we had $21.9 million in new investment in Flint Township. This year so far, through the date I did this, which was last week, we had $12.7 million, and we're not halfway through the year. So there are several things going on in our community, and I must tell you that I appreciate that people are worried about the economy and where we're going. But one of the biggest hurdles to overcome in economic development is negativity, to be honest with you. While we have to be realistic about what's going on, we have to celebrate the good things that are happening when they happen. And maybe I need to be touting these a little more in the meetings, but these are the things that are going on. So if you ever have questions about what's going on and what we're doing, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to share these numbers with you and work with you. So that's all I have.
Did you mention the ribbon cutting?
Yeah, we have a ribbon cutting on Wednesday. Anybody that would like to come at noon, I believe it is, Complete Runner is a new facility, a new business right next to Kinko's, or well, it's FedEx
Gaines.
now. In the Gaines building, you have Gaines, FedEx, and then Complete Runner. So if you have time to stop by, it's a great little building, so stop in.
They have a good selection of shoes.
Yeah, oh, and St. George's did a ribbon cutting last Friday, just so everybody's aware. They did a new, they redid their rental space for like weddings and that kind of stuff. It's really beautiful. And they are doing that, I guess it's a barn, I would say it's a barn pavilion in the back that is almost done as well. I think that they'll be running out to people as well for your use, so. I think that's it. We have an EDC meeting tomorrow, 4:30, if anybody's interested in attending. June 1st, we have a DDA meeting. So hopefully I'll have a quorum.
Thank you. Chief Salter, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, ma'am, we do. Since our last board meeting, we've responded to over 1,400 calls, which is about 105 per day average. Last May, it was approximately 96 per day average. So, of course, it's getting warmer out, and our call volume will keep on going up. And I do not have anything for the agenda tonight.
Thank you. Chief Beckley?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. In the last 2 weeks, your fire department responded to 42 incidents, including being dispatched to 2 structure fire calls. Both of those fire calls were in apartment buildings, so I just want to remind everybody, if you do hear smoke detectors going off, you live in apartments, whether it's a home, apartment, wherever, please treat those as an actual fire until proven otherwise. We need people to get out of those buildings, until we can make sure there's not a fire. We tend to run into issues when it comes to making sure everyone is out, and it just helps our firefighters and police officers to make sure that everyone is out of those buildings safely. So please treat those as a fire until proven otherwise. Just want to take a second and touch on an incident we had, I think it was just before the last board meeting, just to kind of touch on the importance of smoke alarms. We got called to a residential fire alarm going off in a home. This alarm was monitored by a alarm company, so they had a security alarm and a fire alarm system. Firefighters arrived on scene in about 5 minutes, found a smoke detector going off inside of the house. However, there was no one home. All the windows were closed. Curtains, blinds, everything was all shut. We could hear the smoke detector going off inside, though. We weren't comfortable just leaving that situation. Of course, no one's there. We don't know what's causing it, whether it's a dead battery, whether it's an actual fire. We were able to contact Genesee County 911, who was able to then contact the homeowner that was at work quite a ways away on the phone and get permission for us to enter that home to figure out what was going on. Due to our great training, great kind of equipment that we have, we were able to enter that home without doing any damage. The house was locked up, but we were able to make access without doing any damage out of that home. Made entry into the house and found an air fryer that was sitting on the stove that was turned on. Melting, smoking, just minutes away from probably creating a major issue inside of that home. Was speaking out of the homeowner, it was absolutely accidental. Sounds like it got moved onto the stove that morning. Must have bumped the knob, turned on the heat, and there it was. So there was smoke in the house. There was some damage to that air fryer. Firefighters were able to quickly get that out under control, evacuate all the smoke out of the house, and lock the house back up for the homeowner. So we do respond to a lot of fire alarm calls, but this just is an example. Sometimes it may be cooking, sometimes it may be a shower, but sometimes it may actually be a fire. I truly believe that smoke detector being monitored by that alarm company saved that person from having a catastrophic incident in their home. So, just want to touch on that. Not every call is a major emergency, but some of them we do get to stop from turning into a bigger issue. As a reminder, with the weather getting nice, please call us for a burn permit before burning. I know I've been hitting that the last few board meetings, but please call us before you burn. Just want to let everybody know we have offered a conditional offer of employment to a full-time firefighter candidate. That person is working through the background check process, physical, all of that stuff. Hopefully will be coming to the board very soon. As we know, we have a couple of them here tonight, but we do have a few of our on-call firefighters that have retired and moved on from our department here over the last few months, and just another one last week. Brings us to about 12 on-call firefighters right now in our community. As Mr. Klee said, we are desperately looking for on-call firefighters in our township. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you in. The Fire Academy usually starts in the fall, September, October, and runs for about 6 months in the evening. So we would love to have more candidates. It's a great opportunity to serve your community. All training's paid for, equipment's paid for. We pay you to go. It's really a great opportunity. So please, if you're interested or even remotely interested, have anyone that is, please contact us. Also, to congratulate Assistant Chief Rowley, who just 2 weeks ago completed Michigan State Police Fire Investigation School. It's a very strenuous two-week class. I completed it a few years back, and it was hard, so just want to congratulate him. That brings us to 2 fire investigators in our fire department again, which is good. And we have no action items on the agenda tonight. However, we have a couple things coming up here. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah, good job. We had a road advisory committee meeting on Monday. Is John Whiteside here for a report? Oh, there you are.
Tried to take my parking spot out front.
Good evening, Township Board. I'm John Whiteside, Secretary of the Road Advisory Committee, and we had a meeting last Monday on the 8th. And we didn't have a lot to cover, but I'll fill you in what we did discuss. Supervisor Miller brought to us about the last board meeting with Flagstone's SAD. The reason I bring that up is because the township's portion of that comes out of the road millage. So moving forward, one of our challenges is we have to figure that payment for that SAD in our road millage budget. It's approximately $46,000 over 15 years. The other thing was Mark Schowalter, one of our committee members, he went out and checked out Scottwood Avenue. That was brought to our committee on April 10th. Literally, I went and looked at it last week myself. It looks like a bomb street. I mean, it's full of holes. And Scottwood is where it connects at Fenton Road, and there's businesses on both sides. The residents said they driving around onto the parking lots to get to Fenton Road. There were several other roads in that area that need attention. So our committee started looking, and we'll be looking at our 2024 road plan in our next meeting. There's several areas in the township that need work. And obviously, funds, we don't have funds to cover all what needs to be done. That's the common trend everywhere. And some of them areas is the Linden and Maple Road subdivision. There's some roads in there that residents have complained about for several years. We've had them on our list, but we haven't been able to address them because more important things have come up. And the Fenton and Bristol Road area, that's like Scottwood Avenue, Whitmore Avenue, West McLean Avenue, and Otto Street, that is some of the roads in that area. Not all those probably need attention, but some of them need attention. And that's back in where the Carmen Fenton Lawn Early Learning Center School is located back in there. So our residents do drive back in there to get their youngsters to class. So the township needs for road repairs, like I say, fall way short of our revenue. And it's difficult to repair everything that needs to be repaired with the limited millage dollars and the 50-50 money. But the committee does the best they can, putting together a road plan everywhere that we bring to you guys as a recommendation. You on the board have the final say-so. So we do have challenges, and looking forward, we can only attack the most, needed roads. And that's basically what we had discussed. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
So in just a minute, we have some celebrating to do for this. Feels like a lifetime of service from two gentlemen, but I wanted to mention, and I should have mentioned during my report, I know that everybody has loss that they experience. We had one employee who lost her mother this last week and another employee who lost his father this morning, but I want to bring to your attention that I see a lot of people in the audience tonight. We had a lot at our last meeting where we had a public hearing for the SAD, more than I've ever seen, and we have almost as many tonight. We had a gentleman who many of you know, George Menudas, who served this township for longer than some of you have been alive. He started serving on the Planning Commission in 1966. And I could not tell you all the different committees he's been on, but he's been on all of them, I think, at least once. And he also served as a county commissioner. Well, George died on May 3rd. He was 96 years old. He'd be 97 in July. Or is he 97? Yeah.
No, in July, I think.
He would have been 97 in July. So he died on May 3rd. There was a visitation at Swartz Funeral Home on Hill Road, and his church, they used to have a church, a Greek Orthodox church on Beecher Road. It was bought out by the McLaren Hospitality House, so they relocated their church on Baldwin Road. And George was a very large part of getting that together. Well, who'd have known? Their church was doing some iconography renovation, and they have scaffolding up, so it was not available for George's funeral. He went there his whole life, 96 years. Anyhow, actually he served in the military, so I guess he didn't go there when he was in the military. He was a pharmacist for 55 years, but I just thought that we might take just a few seconds to honor his memory because he gave a lot of himself, no matter what you thought. George was a kind-hearted person, and he had a memory that didn't quit, and he remembered if he ever met you before. So if we could take just a few seconds here and honor his memory, I'd appreciate that. May God rest his soul. Do you want to join me, Chief Beckley? And we'll ask Officer Sokoviak to come on up.
Come on up, Pete.
Oops.
All right, so I think I'm going to start out. I won't take too long here, but known Pete since I got on the department a few years back, but you know, he's been here a lot longer than I have. Pete's been a huge asset to our department. Been here 26, almost 7 years.
Correct.
You know, huge asset, always here, always wants to help, always wants to serve. 26 years is a long time to serve, and I mean, he's not full-time here, so he works a full-time job. He takes care of his family, you know, takes care of all those normal duties, and then on the side, comes in here, comes to training, comes to public education events, wants to be better, and is always here to help. We really couldn't ask for any better people, and it saddens me. Pete came in today to pick up a few things, and I said, hey, here's your gear. You want it back? Come on, just give us a few more months, you know, a few more years, right?
Young guys do it.
You know, but when I came on, you were a huge help to me, huge help to all of us, I think. You know, we're one department. We may have a couple different sides here, but we are all one department. We're all one Flint Township Fire Department, and it really means a lot to have, you know, people like you, people like Greg, and really everybody, you know, hand in hand. Ranks and titles, you know, don't matter to me. Who's here, who wants to be a part of this, and who's really, you know, dedicated to helping out citizens and people that are here. You did that every day. You did that every call. No one could ever question your loyalty, your dedication to this community, and I thank you.
Thank you for saying so.
So I'll read the proclamation. Whereas Pete Sokoviak has served the residents and businesses of the Charter Township of Flint for over 26 years. Whereas Pete Sokoviak began his service with the Flint Township Fire Department as an on-call firefighter July 1st, 1996. Whereas Pete Sokoviak was committed to furthering himself in his chosen career as a firefighter by attending many training opportunities including incident command, hazardous materials, terrorism awareness, confined space, and clandestine drug lab awareness. And whereas Pete Sokoviak promoted public safety in the community by conducting fire prevention programs and by attending other public events. Whereas Pete Sokoviak is a devoted husband to his wife, Tina, and a loving father to his daughter, Sarah. Whereas the Charter Township of Flint wishes to publicly recognize the significant contributions of Pete Sokoviak to the Flint Township Fire Department and the community as a whole during his many years of service. Now, therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Flint, on behalf of the staff, fire officers, firefighters, residents, and business owners, does hereby issue this proclamation in honor of firefighter Pete Sokoviak and recognizes his time and dedication to the Charter Township of Flint this day, May 15th, 2023. Thank you.
He wrote something.
Yeah. I get emotional when I talk about things to the heart, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Come on. Okay. Can I turn this?
Yes.
Oh, boy. I'm not accustomed to being a public speaker. This is my sister Elaine. Never make it about yourself. First, I wish to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting. It means the world to me that you're here. I have in attendance my wife Tina, 34 years, my daughter Sarah and my daughter-in-law Jen, both who I'm extremely proud of. My older sister Elaine and my brother-in-law Roger. As a surprise, my nephew Michael and his wife Erin, a longtime friend of my wife's, Cheryl. Again, like I said, please be patient with me. I have 27 years to wrap up in 7 minutes or less, and I want to make sure I do this correctly. I only have one chance and only have one opportunity to do this right. My older brother Joe used to introduce me to others by saying, our mother taught us to run out of a burning building. My brother Pete here runs into them. I'd like everyone at this time to look around the room, just take a few seconds and ask yourself this question. Whom do I see? Look around the room, please. Now I'll ask you to close your eyes and ask yourself this question. Remember back to September 11th, 2001 when the planes hit the Twin Towers? Do you remember where you were? Do you remember how helpless you felt at that moment? Do you remember your loved ones just had to be a little closer to you that night? Please continue to keep your eyes closed and ponder those questions that I've asked you. At this time, I would like to ask firefighters, sergeants, captains, chiefs, and retirees of the same caliber to stand up. Come on, guys, stand up. I would also like active police officers and retired to stand up. Now I will ask everyone to open your eyes and look around the room. Do these people look different to you now? Go ahead and sit down, guys. Thank you. Thank you. These people who have stood up tonight look different because these individuals, the ones who get up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m., sometimes leaving the station, leaving their family behind on a 30-degree day. They leave their families behind. They get out of a warm bed, a warm police car to take on the next emergency. I would like you to remember these individuals whom stood up here tonight. These individuals continue to answer that call. In the movies, fires are portrayed in a way where you can see where a firefighter is going. Truth be told, in most cases, you can't see your hand in front of your face. You have to feel your way around, most times crawl on your belly as soon as you enter the burning structure. You must control your breathing and find the seat of the fire and put it out. During the fire, the temperature at the floor level is around 100 degrees. At eye level, it's about 600 degrees. You have to keep sounding the floor in front of you, not to fall through the burned away floor to the level below you. You have to pause every now and then and call out, "Fire department, call out." You pay attention to 1,000% of the time, every single detail. I don't remember where I exactly heard this early on in my career, but I remember hearing the best way to control your breathing and to save on air while wearing SVA was to sing. So that's what I tried to do. Most of the time it worked for me. I could make the air in my SVA bottle last just a little bit longer by doing so. I'm sure my partners on the fire ground were thinking to themselves, "What the hell, this Polak is crazy. Is he singing?" I remember early on in my career when a man lost his life. He was driving southbound in the northbound lane of I-75. I left the house around 10 p.m. and I returned home about 4 a.m., only to find my wife standing in the kitchen when I arrived home. I told her a story of a man who lost his life because death isn't prejudice. Doesn't care if you're a man or a woman or a child. Death doesn't care about the color of your skin.
However, it does care if you were driving the wrong way on the expressway, drunk and driving 80 miles an hour, and hit a woman. That lady, if I remember correctly, had broken ankles, a broken leg, a broken pelvis, and a large gash in her forehead. And with all those injuries, she was still talking when she got loaded in the ambulance. Like I said, my wife was standing in the kitchen when I arrived. She listened to my story over the years. And when one bad story turned into several, Tina, you continue to support me time and time again. She was the only person besides my fellow firefighters who continued to support me my whole career, and I am grateful for that. Under my proclamation should be your name because it belongs to you as well. No crying. And for all the times you worried about me during the dinners, I had to suddenly leave. You and I were preparing Thanksgiving dinners. I remember one time leaving suddenly, only to arrive on scene to find a mother kneeling on her front lawn in distress, screaming, "My baby, my baby." And as our captain said as we were going to put our air packs on, don't worry about hand tools, you're going in to search for a child. Right, Greg? My partner and I dove off that ladder into the second floor window. I never hesitated, not for 1 second. Jump into a house burning, charged with smoke. We were given flashlights at the bottom of the ladder. We were getting ready to dive off. We were relying on each other, our training. Not sure if I really told my wife that story, that Greg and I jumped off that ladder that night, that morning. I left on holidays, most of the time in a hurry. So I dedicate my career and my deepest thanks to my wife, Tina. My career would have not amounted to anything without your continued support year after year, so I say thank you. I hope that you never have to call these individuals who stood up in front of you tonight, but if you do, try to support them in any way, shape, or fashion after the need for them has been mitigated. In closing, here are a few names of the past colleagues I wish to thank. Retired Assistant Chief Ron Psyche, Retired Chief Mark Raleigh, Retired Assistant Chief Mike Berkeley, Lieutenant Ron Mills, Retired Chief Tom Stadler, Retired Captain Dan Kelly, Retired Chief John Ringwalski, Retired Jerry Ruby, firefighters Rick Keltner, Kyle Allen, Kim Ratliff, and Greg King, and Paul Roop. Police officers Tim Jones, Frank Hartner, Neil Donovan, and a very special thanks to my dear friend Charlie Allen. Thank you to all current members of the fire department. I appreciate you more than you know, as well as members of the police department. I was and I am a part of a journey, and now I'm very proud to say I have served my almost 27 years as a career, and now I can say I'm retired. Thank you. They're saying my family can come up and take pictures, please. And you don't need me. Yeah, you. My 92-year-old father. I want them all to come. Yeah. Frank, Cheryl, Roger, Elaine, please. Michael and Aaron, are you guys here?
Yeah, we're here.
Come on, Allie. There she is. Come on, Brody.
Tom, will you take one of mine?
I will.
There you go.
Sarah, I'll just send it to you. Okay.
Cheese.
She's supposed to.
Hang on. I got 4.
Thank you.
Good job. Oh, good. Greg? Hey.
Dad, do you want your, hey, right hat?
No pressure. Tony against you. All right, so I think I already mentioned it, but these two fine gentlemen started the exact same day, July 1st, 1996, together. Right? They put an entire career together, so it's really special. You know, Greg, you've been here since I've been here, obviously a whole lot longer, but I really appreciate all of your help, your guidance when I was a brand new firefighter sergeant. I had no idea what I was doing here in Flint Township. You and Pete, you know, but you were really one of those guys that kind of took me, helped me, you know, hey, this is kind of how we do things here. This is where we are. And you were always there for training, always there for calls. I think your run percentage is better than anybody's by far. You know, 80, 90 plus % of the calls you make, because you're always here. And that really shows your dedication to this community, your dedication to this township, and the firefighters and the residents that are here. We truly cannot replace you guys. We cannot. The people out there, they're just not there. Your families, I didn't mention this earlier, but your families, I want to thank both of you, the wives, the kids, the brothers and sisters, everyone that's had to see them run out of the house at a moment's notice, because it happens all too often in this job, right? So I just want to thank you for all those missed birthdays, holidays, you know, movie nights, whatever it is. You know, those just can't be replaced. So we thank you for serving the community, the department, and being one of those integral parts of this department. Even when I was moving up, you know, pretty quickly here, you were always one of those guys that was in my office, hey, helping me out, doing this, doing that, taking on those extra roles. Like I said earlier, rank is just a title, okay? It doesn't take being a lieutenant, a captain, a sergeant in chief to do this job. Firefighters can be just as integral to this department as I am, or more. Rank means nothing. Who's here, who's dedicated, and who treats us like we do with respect. And Greg, you did that every day, every call. You were here, you were ready, and you were one of those dedicated people I've ever met. And I thank you.
So before I read the proclamation, I just wanted to say, we sometimes have an idea, or we think we know what firefighters do, but I found a new appreciation for Greg when he was elected to represent their union on the negotiating team. And we were at a standstill, and your skill, your ability to communicate and express thoughts that you guys do day in and day out, your operations, and reduce it to paper and bargain and negotiate. You did a great job doing that, so I appreciate that. I'll read the proclamation. Whereas Gregory King has served the residents and businesses of the Charter Township of Flint for over 26 years, and whereas Gregory King began his service with the Flint Township Fire Department as an on-call firefighter July 1st, 1996, whereas Gregory King was committed to furthering himself in his chosen career as a firefighter by attending many training opportunities including incident command, hazardous materials, terrorism awareness, confined space, and clandestine drug lab awareness. And whereas Gregory King promoted public safety in the community by conducting fire prevention programs, public events, and fire hydrant maintenance. Whereas Gregory King is a devoted husband to his wife, Michelle, and a loving father to his daughters, Megan and Elena. Whereas the Charter Township of Flint wishes to publicly recognize the significant contributions of Gregory King to the Flint Township Fire Department and the community as a whole during his many years of service. Now therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Charter Township of Flint, on behalf of the staff, fire officers, firefighters, residents, and business owners, does hereby issue this proclamation in honor of firefighter Gregory King and recognizes his time and dedication to the Charter Township of Flint this day, May 15th, 2023. Thank you very much.
You have anything to say?
Pete pretty much said everything. That's a good job, Pete, because But I would like to thank citizens of this township for the opportunity to serve you, fellow firefighters, and of course my 2 daughters, and my wife who put up with many incidents. But it's been a privilege and an honor, and I'd like to thank you all.
Shelley, you want me to take one of these? Do you want me to take one of these?
But that's a nice way of doing it.
Make sure you zoom out, Pete, zoom out.
Pete, go to your left.
My way.
Hey, nobody move, you guys. Sit. Shelley, I'll send those to you. Hey, both you guys up front, please. Thank you.
One more picture.
Yeah, wear the hat, buttons.
Button your button. What? No.
Thank you both.
I am respecting my elder. Greg, take one step that way. Stop, right there. I'm using the state of Michigan now. Hands across the water. Right here, Pete. Right here, Pete.
Hands in front, Pete.
There you go.
You get in the picture next.
I'm sorry, why? So you want to see a short person in the middle?
Yes, you said it.
Brett, do you want to get a picture too?
All right. Come on, Brett.
Tom, let Tom get in there.
You liked it better before.
Thanks, Frank.
What, here, one?
What? Chief, get in here.
I don't do facial pictures.
Mark, yes.
Nice.
Suck it in, boys.
It's your own way. So we have a cake to celebrate their retirement, but I have to do 2 things before that. We, at the end of our meeting, have a closed session, and we thought that maybe we'll go into closed session while you are enjoying each other's company, because you're all here, and you can enjoy the cake and reminisce and take pictures, and we'll just step out ourselves, and you guys can have the room. But we need to approve the proclamations. Can I have a motion, please?
Clea would move that we approve the proclamations on the As the fire commissioner, I approve the proclamations of the retirements under duress of both my elder firefighter Greg King and the younger than myself firefighter Pete Satkowiak.
And you want a second on that?
Anderson supports.
Any further comments? No? All those in favor of, did you want to say something?
I'm sorry. Gentlemen, congratulations, and it's been an honor and a pleasure. And I'm just going to chime in one more person. There's a lady back there that also went to school with them on the same day, but yeah, right in front of Pete. She's got her hat on now. My wife, when she sat in the chair for 20 years as the assistant to the chief down there, so she's done too. So thank you. I'm sorry, I'm done.
I was going to say, in the almost 15 years that I've been here, I've never heard one negative word about Pete Satkowiak or Greg Knight. I've only heard what hard-working, dedicated, family-loving, community-oriented men you are. Thank you very much for your service. So we have a motion to approve the proclamations. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. And then do we have a motion to go into closed session?
We would move that we move into closed session and step out of the room.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee Burt,
No.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Clee,
Yes.
Trustee Campbell,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes, Trustee Fabdaw.
Yes. We'll step out and enjoy the cake and each other's company, and we'll
If you want me to, I can. That's fine. No, I can do that. I gotta leave my stuff out here though, right? Don't take minutes, right? Okay. I know you do. No, I know that.
And then there was two.
I don't
I told Paul, don't get any ideas, says you can't go to the chair. Tonight, I know what we got.
Oh, my They wouldn't let me watch it. They wouldn't let me
45 and 7.
Okay.
What?
I'll
When we
look
got
it
out?
up on the tape.
Well, we left 7:05. I'm coming back in here.
Oh,
I got it.
She was 7:05. Oh.
Do we make a motion?
yep. So,
You said you wanted chocolate.
we'll need a motion to go back into open session, please.
I move we go back into open session.
Is there,
at
is
7:40.
there a second to the motion? Roll call, please.
Okay. Trustee Clee? We're doing roll call to go back. come back in.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell?
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Favdal?
Yes.
Trustee Burt?
Yes, I
And Supervisor Miller?
Yes. So we're done with that. Number 8 is payment of bills. Madam Treasurer?
I'd like to make a motion to pay bills in the amount of $147,091.75.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
There's a couple things that were on the roll online that are not in the packet, in the folder. So I would like to have that, there's 3 of them. To have them postponed until next meeting so we can figure it out because they're not in there.
What are they?
They're the MTA conference.
It was in there.
The only thing that's in here is mileage. That's it.
No, it should have been on the credit card.
But there's nothing in here.
The credit card wasn't in there?
Nothing. So I'd like,
So
if
is
we
the-
can do that, I would like to do that.
What was it, Bert? It doesn't matter. You said it was
Can you
3
repeat that,
items?
please?
I would like to pull 3 items from the bills, which is, would be the MTA conference, 2 of them that are not in here, the hard copy, and then just keep back the mileage one. That one is there. And we can put them together.
So MTA, and mileage? Got it.
Okay, so we have a motion to pay the bills, excluding those 3 items. Is that a second? Did we get a second to that motion?
Yeah, I seconded.
Alrighty.
Section.
Any further questions or discussion? Roll call, please, on approving the motion to pay the bills in the amount of $147,091.75 and excluding the 2 MTA voices and the mileage.
Trustee Burt?
She didn't hear you.
Roll call, you guys.
Roll call.
She called
Roll call.
your name to
Trustee Burt?
voting on the,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
on the
Yes.
bills.
Okay. Trustee Favdal?
Yes.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Clee?
Yes.
Trustee Campbell?
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson?
Yes.
And Clerk Triplett, yes.
Do we have any correspondence or informational items? I don't think so, do we? No. We move on to new business. Is action item A is protecting the Michigan pension grant. The application is due by June 15th, and they require a couple of items, and one of them is a resolution from this board approving the supervisor to file a claim with the state of Michigan to apply for the Protecting Michigan Pension Grant.
Clee would move that we accept the recommendation as so presented.
Is there a second to the motion?
Anderson supports.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Action item B, Madam Clerk?
Yes, so the clerk's department, recently, we have received bids from 3 contractors for emergency backup. No, that's for the generators, hold on. Genesee Valley Vault is no longer providing maintenance for the Bristol Road Cemetery and the Cronk Cemetery. The township is responsible for the care and maintenance of both cemeteries. The clerk's department put out bid for maintenance, and we received the bids. We received the bids today, and we opened them today at 12:30. I have the results on the board tables for the board members to review. We would like to move forward as soon as possible so that we're able to keep the cemeteries looking nice and our subdivision looking, our community looking nice.
So what about number 2?
Yes. You should have the bids in front of you. Does anybody have questions? Or okay.
Any questions? Well, you want to make a motion?
I make a motion for Perfect Lines, I believe it was, to receive the bid for the maintenance for Bristol Road Cemetery and along with Crunk Cemetery.
Anderson supports.
Thank you. Is there any further
We
discussion?
have just one quick question. They're bonded and insured, right?
Yes.
The price looks the best, so.
Yeah, they're
on
bond
that
insured and they
note-
attach that
So I don't know
information.
if you want to mention the 3 prices to the audience, so you know why you
I don't
recommended
think-
them.
We don't have to do
Don't need to?
that.
It was the best price.
Yeah, it's the best price.
By far.
Yeah. Definitely, we accepted the best price.
Okay.
And they're bonded and insured, that's.
Now,
So-
first, second, okay.
I see this person lives on Cora Drive. Is that in the township?
That is in the township.
If he's running a business, we'll check and see if he's got a business license.
Sure you will.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving Perfect Lawns to do the maintenance, the lawn maintenance and cleanup of the Bristol Road and Cronk Cemetery signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That stands approved.
Thank you.
Next action item is emergency backup. Tracy, did you want to speak on that?
I think
Actually,
mine's
I
got
would,
all
yeah.
the
Oh,
stuff
sorry,
there.
clerk.
So, the clerk's department also received bids for 3 contractors for the emergency backup generators. The electrical inspector has reviewed the bids. McCurkey bid did not include replacing the hedges, otherwise the bids all pretty much were the same. We have received a grant from the county that will pay at least $36,300 of the project. Due to the lead time for getting generators and switches, we will need to move forward as soon as possible as well with this. The deadline for the county grant, I believe, is 12/31/21. You all have copies in front of you in regards to that as well.
Want to make the motion?
I make a motion that we approve McCurkey for the bid for the emergency backup generators.
Anderson.
Right here. And 36,000 from the
You
county.
got it?
Bottom one.
Yeah.
You gotta add that to the.
Hold on.
There you go.
Yeah, and where it's
So
coming
you
from,
can
yeah.
do that. Right there.
Yeah. And McCurkey's, their bottom line is $1,026,582, which was also the lowest out of all 3 contractors.
And so we have money coming from, here it is,
The county,
in the amount of how much?
$36,300, and we possibly should be getting more as well. We'll be checking. I guess we'll know that maybe by the end of this week if we'll be getting additional funds
And
for
we
that.
have that one right here. I think that there was discussion that we would pay our portion out of ARPA dollars, correct?
Yes.
And I know that we earmarked 60,000, and it may be a bit more, depending on what we hear from the county as far as, you know, if we're not going to do the other project, they might.
Yeah, and the grant we received was for 33%. And so we're hoping that they'll at least raise it to the 33%, which would bring it up over $40,000. Might be able to get them to hedge even a little bit more if we're not gonna do that other project, so.
So 40 off of the 126, and we'd be looking at roughly somewhere in the $80,000 range out of ARPA dollars?
Yeah.
Okay. Does everyone understand that? Any further questions? Any discussion?
As long as, yeah, that's a good use for the ARPA dollars, and for both facilities, we need to make sure that we're up and running before, and using those, so yes, I'm all good for that.
Alrighty. Madam Clerk?
Somebody second? Who's second? Did someone second? Oh, it was Lisa. You
Yeah,
seconded?
Lisa seconded.
Okay,
You
thank
want to, roll call, please?
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Favdal?
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Trustee Campbell,
Yes.
Trustee Clee,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Vert.
Yes.
Thank you.
Action item D is, as you might have heard earlier, Mr. Worthing is retiring as a building administrator and building official effective May 31st. Mr. Miller has committed to staying on as a building official until a replacement is found. A motion would be in order to approve the resolution on his retirement.
We would move to accept Mr. Worthing, Stuart Worthing's papers in retiring as the building administrator and building official effective May 31st, 2023 for the Township of Flint.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion, anything, any questions?
Dennis is all good with hanging out until we need?
His father just passed away
I
this
know,
morning, but.
I know.
Yeah, he's going to help us through.
Okay.
So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Action item E is appointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals. We had some terms expire, and you have the information in front of you. I recommend that, okay, so let me pull this paper up. Sorry.
Who was the seconder on that, Manya?
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa.
On the last one, it was D, action item D,
Yes.
Deb Campbell.
Oh, that's, okay, that's what I had, thank you.
So, the appointment, the recommendation for the appointments, Val Shaheen, his term expired, so, we're looking at reappointing him, he's interested. Term expiring, so, I don't have the other sheet, Tracy.
There you go.
With his,
Yeah, Jean Leverett and Larry Ford.
and Larry Ford is till 2025, is that correct? And Jean Leverett is till 2025?
Correct.
And Val is just till 2024?
Right.
So it's those three positions? Someone like to make a motion to move forward?
We would accept the resolution to reappoint extensions for Val Shaheen, Jean Leverett, and Roger Powell.
No, Roger isn't expired yet, it would be
Oh.
Larry
Oh,
Ford.
yeah. we
Larry Ford,
changed
I'm
it,
sorry, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, we
That's
changed
right.
it. Supposed to be?
Larry Ford, Larry Ford, Jean Leverett, and Val Shaheen.
Val,
Yeah.
that's right, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of extending those appointments signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Those stand approved. We move on to action item F is the Planning Commission. There's a couple of positions that have expired. And I recommend we extend Harry Blecker's term to expire November 2025, and Randy Kilbreth, his term to expire November 2025 also. Is there a motion to move forward?
Oh, Clee would move to accept the Planning Commission reappointments for Mr. Harry Blecker and Mr. Randy Kilbreth.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. The next one is appointments to the Bristol Road CIA. And, let's see, that would be, and you have this on your paper in front of you. It would be Glenn Wilson from Communities First. It'd be a 4-year appointment, so that, he's replacing someone. It would end in April 2024. Wilson LaHood, he, would be a 4-year term, and that would end in April 26. Stephen Smith, who's a resident, 4-year term, April 27, and Randy Kilbreth, it would be a 4-year term, and that would end in April 26th. Is there a motion to move forward with those? Anybody?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we move on to the Beecher Road CIA appointments. That is Michael Aversa. His appointment has expired, and his is a 4-year term through April 27. There's going to be a manager or a director from Uptown Pharmacy. We're asking the board to approve a position there, although they haven't named that person. It's a 4-year term, April, ending, it's a replacement for someone who hasn't shown it. It ends in April of '24. And then also Hope Chiropractic / Health Foods, they're interested. They want someone from their company to be on the Bristol Road or Beecher Road CIA, but they haven't named that person either. It'd be a 4-year term ending in April of '26. And if it's okay with you guys, I believe it's going to be their managers from each of the pharmacy and the health food store. If you want to move forward and move to approve, go right ahead.
Can we hold off on those till we have names?
Do we have a name?
I'd like to have them brought back when
Yeah,
we
can we
have.
just,
Someone want to
Table it.
make a motion to postpone?
we would make a motion that we postpone the Beecher CIA until we fill the names.
Second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
So you got that?
6 to 1.
Yep.
Okay.
The last one, let's see. The EDC appointments, you have that on this page also.
It was J that we deleted.
J, we did it, yeah. H, we did not, right? Yeah. Contact- J is,
Beecher Road.
Isn't this the one we're waiting on?
We just did
No,
Beecher Road.
the DDA.
we're doing I right now.
We're doing,
I, oh, the EDC?
Flint Township EDC appointment.
EDC, here it is. The only one expiring here is Jean Leverett Senior, term expiring November 2029. Somebody want to make a motion for that extension?
I make a motion to reappoint the following to the Flint Township EDC: Jean Leverett Senior, term expiring November of 2029.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the extension for Jean Leverett on the EDC, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Action item J was postponed until next meeting.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
before you close us out, I was looking through the bills that you said there was, so it is here for MTA, for the conference. It matches up. It is attached. And because it was charged the credit card, I would like to make a recommendation that we not hold those up because we will be charged a penalty for late fees.
Were these in your budget then?
Yes.
These conferences and workshops were in your budget?
Yes.
And it was mandatory for your job to go to this?
It wasn't mandatory, no.
You chose to go?
Yes, I did, and got a lot of information. May I have it back, please?
Sure.
So you want to make the motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the 3 items that were tabled, because the information is
So
present.
that was from the bills.
I'll second it.
Yeah, the 2 MTA and the mileage. That's your motion? We need a oh, you seconded it?
I did.
Any further questions or discussion on that motion?
They're not I thought there was discussion with the board that unless it was mandatory for your job to go to conferences, to go to workshops or whatever, that you would go, but that we'd hold off on the other ones. And I don't think they're in the budget.
Any further discussion? Any questions?
Why don't we, in order to clarify, not have an issue, and as long as we're not 2 weeks out, if it wasn't that big, we could wait and just get everything cleared up, so there's no argument. I think-
Wait, okay, so we have a motion on the table to pay it. Are you suggesting we move to postpone it? You want to make that motion?
What are you looking for?
I'm just saying, so whatever clarification on this board needs to take place outside of here, maybe we just table it and have a conversation.
It's a simple motion, so you're making the motion, yes or no?
I would move that, yes.
Is there a second to postpone?
Support.
Any questions on that? Madam Clerk, roll call please to postpone paying those 3 bills.
Okay, Supervisor Miller,
No.
Trustee Clee,
Yes.
Trustee Vert,
To postpone,
to
yes.
postpone. Okay. Trustee Campbell,
No.
Treasurer Anderson,
No.
Clerk Triplett, no. Trustee Favdor,
No.
thank you.
We go back to the motion to pay the bills. We had a motion, did you second that motion? Okay. So roll call, please, on the motion to pay the bills for the MTA conference and the mileage.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Fabdo.
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell.
Yes.
Trustee Clee.
No?
Supervisor Miller.
No.
And Trustee Burt.
No.
So I don't think we have any more.
Before well, you're gonna go to announcements, so I just wanna, can you?
Our next meeting is June 5th. That's the announcement. Did you have something, Tom, before we adjourn?
Well,
Clee wants to verify that he voted no to not postpone.
No. The Bristol Road CIA appointment, it did not vote 7-0, it went 6-1. You asked for a vote, and I said nay on the Bristol Road CIA, and I mentioned it to her quietly, but I wanted, and she did it, but I want you
But you
guys all to
voted
know,
no that he said
I
no.
voted no on the Bristol Road addition of new names,
Okay.
and I have a reason.
Alrighty.
That's postponed. Jay's postponed.
Yeah. No, DDA. That'll come back to the next meeting. So if there's no further business and without objection, are we done, right? We'll call this meeting adjourned.